Chosen one, listen. No one has ever been so dangerous like you. Not because of violence, not because of rage, but because of what you survived. You walked through fires that should have consumed you. You carried betrayals that should have broken you. You buried parts of yourself that should have never risen again. And yet here you stand, unshaken, unstoppable, unexplainable. Do you realize how terrifying that makes you? The average person avoids pain, hides from storms, runs from rejection. But you looked pain in the eye. You let storms carve their lessons into your bones. You let rejection turn into rocket fuel. You didn't just survive, you transformed. That's the danger. You can't be manipulated by the same tricks anymore. You can't be silenced by the same threats. You can't be destroyed by the same weapons. Because every weapon formed against you ended up sharpening you instead. But before we dive into this life-changing message, take a moment to pause this video and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 1. This number will send a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this video. And if you are ready, trust me when I say that your life will never be the same. Imagine this: a mirror that cannot crack, a flame that cannot be smothered, a river that cannot be dammed. That's what you've become, an element that refuses to be caged. And here's the truth your enemies choke on every time they see you. They didn't just fail to stop you, they built you. Every insult added to your resilience. Every betrayal refined your discernment. Every setback stretched your vision. They were unknowingly working for your destiny. That's why they're afraid now. Psychologists say people fear the unpredictable most. And you, chosen one, have become the most unpredictable force of all. Because no one knows your next move, not even your enemies. One moment you're silent, the next you're shaking the ground. One day you vanish, the next you rise higher than anyone expected. That's not recklessness, that's strategy, divine strategy. Let's make it clear, your danger isn't in what you destroy. It's in what you refuse to surrender. Your peace, your light, your calling, these are the things no enemy can strip from you. And that drives them mad. Look at nature. Lions are feared not because they attack constantly, but because of the weight of their presence. Volcanoes are feared not because they erupt daily, but because everyone knows the eruption is inevitable. That's you, chosen one. Your very existence carries a threat, a living reminder that no chain, no lie, no betrayal has ever been enough to cage you. You're dangerous because you're free from needing their approval, free from repeating their cycles, free from bowing to the system that wanted you powerless. And nothing rattles this world more than a soul who refuses to kneel. So let them whisper, let them scatter, let them try to explain you away. They'll never succeed because you're not a story they can rewrite. You're a force they can't control. And that's why, chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you. You want to know why no one has ever been so dangerous like you? Because you mastered something most people fear: silence. See, the world expects noise. It expects you to announce your moves, to beg for recognition, to cry for help. But you went quiet. You learned how to suffer in silence, build in silence, and rise in silence. And now, no one knows what's coming until it's already here. That unpredictability terrifies them. They can't read you. They can't predict you. They can't control you. And in a world obsessed with patterns, you became the storm without a forecast. Chosen one, do you realize how lethal that makes you? Enemies don't know when you'll strike, because half the time, you don't even strike at all. You just move, you just shift, you just rise. And by the time they notice, it's too late. Danger isn't loud. Danger is quiet footsteps in the dark. Danger is the fire smoldering before the explosion. Danger is the blade so sharp it cuts before you feel it. That's the level you've reached. Your danger doesn't come from chaos. It comes from discipline, from the way you control yourself when everything around you is falling apart, from the way you can disappear without a word, and still their minds stay haunted by your presence. That's why they flinch when your name is mentioned. That's why they watch from the shadows, hoping to decode you, but never succeeding. You've turned into the ghost in their system, the glitch they can't erase, the reminder that their power was never real. And here's the twist. You don't even try to be dangerous. It just happens when someone becomes untouchable in spirit. You didn't earn this through arrogance. You earned it through endurance, through every trial that should have taken you out, but instead took you higher. So yes, Chosen One, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, because you don't need a weapon. You are the weapon. Chosen One, your danger isn't in what you gained. It's in what you lost. You lost the need for approval. You lost the fear of being alone. You lost the desire to be liked. And when a person has nothing left to lose, they become unstoppable. That's you. The chains they tried to use against you, fear, guilt, shame, don't work anymore. They can't manipulate you with silence because you've already been alone. They can't scare you with rejection because you've already been rejected. They can't break you with loss because you've already buried what mattered most and kept moving. That's why you're dangerous. You've died 1,000 little deaths and resurrected stronger every single time. You've been through hell so many times that flames don't scare you anymore. You learned how to walk through them. Think about that for a second. The world fears pain, but you turned pain into your weapon. You turned heartbreak into fuel. You turned every scar into a map that now guides you where others are too afraid to go. That's what makes your presence unsettling, because people look at you and realize nothing works on you anymore. The tricks that silence everyone else, the traps that keep people stuck, the lies that cage entire generations, you slipped out of all of them. Chosen One, that is why no one has ever been so dangerous like you. You're living proof that survival isn't the end of the story. Transformation is. And when someone transforms, when someone transcends what should have killed them, they become untouchable. So let them whisper. Let them run. Let them call you too much, too distant, too fearless. They'll never admit it out loud, but they know the truth. You are what they're terrified to become. Free. And freedom. Chosen One. That's the most dangerous power a soul can carry. Chosen One, your danger doesn't come from how much you speak. It comes from how much you know. Knowledge is a weapon, and you carry truths that most people spend their whole lives running from. You see through masks. You hear the lies behind the smile. You feel the weight of hidden motives before a single word is spoken. That's terrifying, because in a world addicted to deception, the one who sees clearly is always the greatest threat. You don't need to argue. You don't need to expose them with evidence. Your silence already convicts them. Your presence already reveals what they tried to bury. They avoid your eyes, not because you're intimidating, but because they know you can read what they've been hiding. Chosen One, that's why people whisper when you walk away. That's why conversations shift the second you enter a room. It's not paranoia, it's discernment. And discernment is dangerous because it makes manipulation impossible. Think of it like this. A king doesn't fear a soldier who swings wildly. He fears the assassin who moves silently, who studies patterns, who strikes with precision. That's you. You don't waste energy. You don't chase validation. You move with accuracy, and accuracy is lethal. And here's the part that shakes them most. You don't use your sight for destruction. You use it for alignment. That means your danger isn't in the harm you could cause. It's in the fact that you can't be fooled. No lie can bind you. No false crown can seduce you. No counterfeit love can distract you. That's why no one has ever been so dangerous like you. Because the moment you see through everything, nothing can stop you anymore. Chosen one, do you know why you are so dangerous? Because you refuse to stay broken. Most people break and never return. They collapse under the weight of betrayal, fear, or failure. And they stay there. They become shells of themselves, repeating the same cycles, living half-lives. But you broke, and you rebuilt. You shattered, and you rose stronger. You didn't just heal the cracks. You turned them into armor. That's terrifying to the world. Because a soul that has been broken and rebuilt is no longer fragile. You can't be threatened with loss because you've already lost. You can't be scared with darkness because you've already walked through it. You can't be manipulated with fear because you already faced it and lived. Think about this. Glass is fragile until it's reforged into diamond. Steel is weak until it's tempered in fire. And you, chosen one, your pain tempered you. Your heartbreak reforged you. Your suffering carved you into a weapon that no enemy can dull. That's why people look at you differently now. They sense the weight of what you carry. They may not know your story, but they feel it. Your presence says, I've been through what you thought would kill me, and I'm still here. And that's the ultimate danger, because when someone realizes they cannot be broken anymore, they become indestructible. Chosen one, that's why no one has ever been so dangerous like you. You're not dangerous because you seek war. You're dangerous because you've already survived it. Chosen one, your danger comes from one thing they never expected. You're no longer afraid of starting over. Most people cling to what they have, even if it's killing them. They cling to toxic circles, dead jobs, fake friendships, illusions of safety. Why? Because they fear the unknown. They fear beginning again. But you've been stripped bare. You've lost, walked away, burned bridges, left behind everything that once defined you. And instead of dying in despair, you became comfortable with new beginnings. That makes you lethal, because what can the world take from someone who is willing to rebuild from nothing? What can enemies destroy when you already proved you don't need what they're trying to hold over you? That terrifies them. Imagine a warrior with nothing to protect but his own soul. No material chains, no attachments, no illusions left. That warrior doesn't fight out of fear. He fights out of freedom. And freedom is always more dangerous than fear. Chosen one, you've mastered the art of detachment. That's why doors close in your face and you don't panic. That's why people leave and you don't crumble. That's why storms come and you don't beg for shelter. You walk through them. And the world hates that because it means you can't be bribed. You can't be threatened. You can't be bought. You've become untouchable because you already proved you can rise from the ashes. So yes, no one has ever been so dangerous like you. Not because you have nothing to lose, but because you already know you'll rise again, no matter what you lose. Chosen one, your danger isn't just in the physical world. It's in the spiritual realm. You don't fight with fists. You fight with presence. You fight with prayer. You fight with alignment. And that terrifies not just people, but spirits. You ever wonder why the atmosphere shifts when you walk in? Why people who never even knew your name get uneasy around you? It's because your spirit announces you before your mouth ever opens. Your light irritates their darkness. Your energy exposes what they thought they hid. Demons recognize chosen ones long before humans do. That's why you've been under attack since birth. That's why betrayal followed you. That's why rejection shadowed you, not because you were weak, but because even in your weakness, your calling was too loud. And here's the truth. A chosen one who finally realizes who they are becomes the most dangerous kind of soul on earth. Because once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. Once you see, you can't unsee. Once you rise, you can't fall the same way again. That's why they fear you. Because when you move, you don't just move alone, heaven moves with you. Your steps echo in both worlds. Your choices shift bloodlines. Your obedience shakes entire systems. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you. Not because of your strength, but because of the strength that flows through you. It's divine. It's untouchable. It's unstoppable. That's why the enemy tried to silence you early. That's why people you trusted turned against you. That's why you face storms others never could have survived. They weren't just fighting you, they were fighting what you carry. And the fact that you're still here, still standing, still rising, that's proof enough. Heaven chose you, and hell knows it. Chosen one, your danger is not just in your strength, it's in your endurance. Anyone can shine for a moment, anyone can burn hot for a season. But you outlast. You survive storms that should have passed you. You endure winters others froze in. You walk through nights so long, people wonder how you're still standing at sunrise. That's the part they can't comprehend, because they thought pain would break you in a week. They thought betrayal would silence you in a month. They thought isolation would kill your spirit in a year. But time after time, you've proved them wrong. That's dangerous, because when enemies realize you cannot be timed out, they panic. When they see you still moving after everything they threw, they start to understand. Your fuel is not natural. It's divine. Think of it this way. A candle burns down with time, but a star burns for ages, fueled from within, impossible to snuff out. That's you. You don't just burn, you sustain. You don't just fight, you endure. And endurance always outlasts attack. That's why they look at you differently now. Because most people fade, but you've become brighter the longer you've been tested. The more time passed, the more dangerous you became. And that's the secret. You're not dangerous because you fight harder. You're dangerous because you don't stop. You keep rising, keep adapting, keep becoming. That makes you immortal in spirit, unstoppable in motion, untouchable in destiny. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, because your strength isn't in the moment. It's in the fact that you cannot be worn down. You last. Chosen one, your danger lies in the fact that you don't stay the same. Most people remain predictable. They find one version of themselves and cling to it for life. They get stuck in identity, trapped in habits, chained to yesterday. But you shed skins, you evolve, you transform. And that terrifies people, because just when they think they've figured you out, you change. Just when they think they know your weaknesses, you grow past them. Just when they think they've buried you in a chapter, you rise as a brand new book. That's dangerous, because transformation makes you untouchable. No weapon can hit you if you've already outgrown the version of yourself it was aimed at. No insult can cage you if you've already evolved beyond the identity it was meant to attack. Think of it like this. Snakes are feared not just because they strike, but because they shed. They leave behind the old, grow sharper, and return more dangerous than before. That's you, chosen one. You keep shedding who you were to become someone no enemy is prepared to face. And here's the truth. That's why they whisper you changed. That's why they call you unrecognizable. That's why they try to guilt you back into your old self. Because your growth proves they stayed the same. You've become the reminder that people don't have to remain trapped. And that reminder cuts deeper than any sword. Because if you can rise, if you can transform, if you can become, then their excuses no longer hold power. Chosen one, that's why no one has ever been so dangerous like you. You are not static. You are evolution in motion. And every time they think they've contained you, you become something new. Chosen one, you are dangerous because you don't bend to the system. The world runs on patterns, on rules, on invisible chains that keep most people quiet, obedient, and small. But you broke the script. You stopped playing the role they wrote for you. You refused to sit in the seat they assigned. That makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable is always dangerous. You don't nod in silence when you see lies. You don't follow traditions that lead to nowhere. You don't worship the idols of money, attention, or approval. You decided to think for yourself, and nothing terrifies the system more than a free mind. Look at history. Every soul who ever shifted the world was branded dangerous. Not because they carried weapons, but because they carried truth. Not because they started wars, but because they refused to bow. That's you. You're dangerous because you don't obey the unwritten rules. Rules that say, stay quiet, don't question, don't outgrow us. You shattered all of them, and now they don't know what to do with you. They can't categorize you. They can't predict you. They can't control you. You are proof that freedom is possible, that chains can be broken, that a soul can rise above the script written for them. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, not because you fight the system, but because you outgrew it. And in doing so, you expose it for what it is. Chosen one, your danger isn't in what you unleash. It's in what you hold back. Anyone can lash out. Anyone can explode in anger, scream, and break things. That's not power, that's loss of control. But you mastered restraint. You mastered silence. You mastered the art of walking away when destruction would have been easier. And that's what terrifies them. Because deep down, they know if you ever decided to use the full force of what you carry, they wouldn't stand a chance. Think about it. A lion doesn't roar to prove it's a lion. It walks calmly, silently, with a power so heavy the jungle trembles. That's you. You don't flaunt your strength. You don't show all your cards. You don't need to. Your enemies fear you not because of what you've done, but because of what you could do if you chose to. That potential, that hidden fire, that's the most dangerous kind of power. And here's the part that unsettles them most. You don't waste your strength. You save it. You store it. You channel it into your purpose instead of into petty battles. That discipline is lethal because it means you're playing a game they can't even see. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you because you don't prove your power by force. You prove it by control, and nothing terrifies the weak more than someone who knows they could destroy, but chooses to rise instead. You are stepping into nights that will test you more than the days ever could. The silence will be louder than noise, and the weight of the unseen will press against your chest. Sleep will run from you, but not because your body is broken, because your spirit is awake. These are not wasted hours, they are sacred hours. You will find yourself staring into the dark, thoughts racing like currents you cannot slow down. This is no accident. These are divine downloads. The questions you've carried for years will begin to surface with answers you never considered. The visions you once doubted will flash clearer. Pay attention, what you receive now is not imagination. It is instruction. These nights will feel strange. The atmosphere will shift around you. At times, you may feel as though the room itself is alive, watching, waiting. Do not shrink back in fear. This is confirmation that the veil is thin, that heaven has stepped into the ordinary. You are being drawn into encounters that few ever touch. But with revelation comes resistance. Shadows will rise to intimidate. Old fears will whisper. Regret will attempt to creep in and choke out your focus. Do not yield. These are distractions designed to pull you from the voice that is trying to speak. Stand steady. Even a whispered prayer in the dark carries thunder in the spirit. Chosen one, understand this. These sleepless nights are not curses. They are consecrations. You are being carved into someone new, someone who sees further, hears sharper, carries heavier weight. The clarity born in these hours will shape your decisions, your relationships, your destiny. When morning comes, your eyes may look tired, but your spirit will burn. You will carry wisdom that others cannot explain. You will walk with a calm that defies circumstance. You will radiate authority born not from titles, but from the nights you endured awake. These are crucial nights because they are turning points. Chosen one, you're dangerous because no one knows your next move. The world is built on patterns. People wake up, repeat the same cycles, live in routines that make them easy to control. But you broke the rhythm. You became unpredictable. And unpredictability is the greatest weapon of all. They expect you to beg. You go silent. They expect you to collapse. You rise higher. They expect you to fight their way. You disappear, reappear, and move on ground they can't follow. That's why they're afraid. Because the most dangerous force isn't the loudest. It's the one no one can forecast. You're the storm without a weather report. The fire that starts without warning. The shadow that moves without sound. And here's the truth. Your unpredictability isn't chaos. It's wisdom. It's strategy. It's knowing when to speak and when to be silent. When to stay and when to walk away. When to fight and when to let the battle collapse on its own. That's what terrifies them. They can't corner you. They can't outthink you. They can't use the same traps twice because you've already evolved past them. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you because you've mastered the art of moving in ways no one can map. You're not random, you're precise. And precision without warning, that's lethal. Chosen one, you are dangerous because you don't need revenge to win. Most people spend their whole lives chasing payback. They waste energy trying to prove themselves, trying to hurt the ones who hurt them. But not you. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't retaliate. And that makes you terrifying, because you rise in silence. You let God handle the judgment. You let time expose the truth. And while your enemies are busy plotting against you, you're busy building. While they watch your every step, you're already miles ahead. That's why they panic. Because nothing destroys an enemy faster than someone who refuses to fight on their level. You're not wasting energy in the mud. You're elevating to heights where their weapons can't reach. Think of it like this. A king doesn't climb down from his throne to argue with peasants. A lion doesn't stop hunting to bark back at dogs. And you don't break your stride to clap back at noise. That kind of restraint, that kind of focus, is more dangerous than any act of revenge, because it shows you don't need to destroy them. Life already will. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, because you win without war. You conquer without clashing. You rise without rage. And the cruelest punishment for your enemies is having to watch you thrive in peace while they crumble in chaos. Chosen one, your danger comes from the way you learn. Most people run from their wounds. They bury the lesson, they numb the memory. They pretend it never happened. But you study your scars. You replay your storms. You analyze the betrayal, the loss, the heartbreak, not to stay stuck in it, but to extract the wisdom hidden inside. That's what makes you dangerous. Because life can't trick you twice. Every trap you fell into, taught you how to build a new path. Every lie you believed sharpened your discernment. Every loss you carried stretched your vision. You don't waste pain. You recycle it. You turn it into maps, into strategies, into insight no one else has. And that terrifies people, because while they're still licking the wounds of yesterday, you're already using yesterday as fuel to dominate tomorrow. Think about it. A person who never learns repeats, but a person who learns never repeats. That's you. You don't walk in circles. You walk in spirals, higher and higher, every turn lifting you above what once trapped you. That's why they whisper you're different. That's why they accuse you of being too wise, too sharp, too calculated. Because they can't understand how you saw through their games so quickly. It's not luck. It's not paranoia. It's wisdom forged in fire. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, because you don't just carry scars, you carry strategies. And strategies win wars before the first battle even begins. Chosen one, you are dangerous because you don't move like everyone else. Most people react. They get triggered. They lash out. They let emotions drag them into battles that drain their spirit. But you don't move by impulse. You move by purpose. Every step you take is calculated. Every silence you keep is intentional. Every door you close is strategic. You don't waste energy. You don't scatter your focus. You don't fight battles that don't build you. And that's terrifying to your enemies. Because how do you defeat someone who doesn't fall for distraction? How do you control someone who refuses to react? How do you trap someone who only moves when it aligns with destiny? They expect chaos from you, but you bring order. They expect noise, but you bring silence. They expect fear, but you bring clarity. That's what makes you so dangerous. You're not chasing every opportunity. You're not entertaining every invitation. You're not letting emotions drag you into wars you've already outgrown. You've learned to conserve your energy for what matters. And that's why your impact multiplies. Think about it. An arrow is useless until it's pulled back, aimed, and released with precision. That's you, chosen one. You don't just shoot wildly. You wait, you aim, you release, and when you do, nothing misses. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you, because you don't waste your power proving who you are. You use it to fulfill why you're here, and nothing is more unstoppable than a soul who knows its purpose. Chosen one, you're dangerous because you can't be bought. Most people have a price. For some, it's money. For others, it's attention, comfort, status, or even cheap approval. They'll betray their own soul for it. They'll sell their integrity just to feel secure. But you can't be bribed. You can't be flattered into chains. You can't be tempted into cages. That makes you untouchable. Because when someone can't be bought, they can't be controlled. And when they can't be controlled, the system fears them. Think about it. How many leaders fell because they took the bait? How many warriors lost because they grabbed the gift meant to distract them? But you didn't take it. You didn't fall for the trap. You didn't sell your crown for crumbs. That's why they call you difficult. That's why they say you're unrealistic. That's why they try to shame you for not following the herd. But in truth, they envy you. Because they know deep down they would have sold out. And you didn't. You stayed true. You stayed free. You stayed loyal to your calling, even when it cost you comfort. And that is the most dangerous thing of all. Because the world can control slaves to desire. But it can never control a chosen one who walks away from the deal. So yes, chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you. Not because you can't be offered the world, but because even if it was handed to you, you'd still choose your soul first. Chosen one, you are dangerous because you stopped hiding yourself. For years, they taught you to shrink, tone it down, stay quiet, blend in. They wanted you small, predictable, unthreatening. But then it happened. You stopped apologizing for your light. You stopped editing your truth. You stopped wearing the mask that made others comfortable. And in that moment, you became unstoppable. Because nothing is more dangerous than someone who has made peace with themselves. When you no longer wrestle with your identity, you're unshakable. When you no longer beg to be accepted, you're unmovable. When you no longer deny your power, you're undeniable. That terrifies people because they can't guilt you back into the shadows anymore. They can't shame you into silence anymore. They can't convince you to be less when you already know you are made for more. Think of it this way. A caged bird sings carefully, quietly, always aware of the bars around it. But once the cage is broken, the song changes. It becomes free, wild, fearless. That's your song now. And the sound of it unsettles every soul still trapped in their cages. Chosen one, that's why no one has ever been so dangerous like you. Not because you're louder, not because you're stronger, but because you're finally yourself. And authenticity is the one thing this world can't counterfeit, copy, or control. Chosen one, you're dangerous because you see further than everyone else. Most people only see the now. They live by what's in front of them. They react to circumstances, to gossip, to fear. They're trapped inside the moment. But you see beyond. You see patterns others ignore. You see opportunities hidden in chaos. You see futures buried in the present. And that vision, that's what terrifies them. Because vision makes you impossible to stop. You don't panic when doors close. You already know another one is waiting. You don't get lost when the path twists. You already see the mountain on the other side. Think about it. A person with no vision is blind even with eyes. But a person with vision can walk through darkness without stumbling. That's you. You walk differently because you see differently. And here's the secret. Your vision is not just yours. It's divine. It was placed in you before you even knew how to describe it. That's why people call your dreams crazy. That's why they label your goals impossible. It's not that they're too big. It's that their eyes were never meant to see what you were shown. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you because you're not guided by fear or money or fame. You're guided by vision. And vision is a weapon sharper than any sword. Chosen one, you are dangerous because you simply don't stop. Most people break once and never return. One betrayal and they collapse. One failure and they quit. One storm and they disappear. But you kept moving. Even when your heart was shattered, you walked. Even when your body was exhausted, you crawled. Even when your spirit felt empty, you still rose the next day. That's terrifying, because how do you defeat someone who refuses to stay down? How do you bury a soul that always resurrects? How do you silence a voice that keeps rising louder after every setback? Chosen one, your resilience is lethal, because every trial only multiplies your strength. Every loss only sharpens your hunger. Every season of darkness only trains your sight to see clearer in the light. You are proof that persistence is stronger than opposition. That's why doors open for you. That's why enemies panic when they hear your name. Because they know their worst wasn't enough to end you. And if their worst wasn't enough, nothing they do will ever be. You are dangerous because you are relentless. You are the storm that keeps returning, the flame that refuses to go out, the story that can't be erased. No one has ever been so dangerous like you, chosen one, because you've mastered the one power most people will never taste. You endure. Chosen one, you're dangerous because you know how to leave. Most people stay. They stay in rooms that drain them. They stay in relationships that kill their spirit. They stay in systems designed to break them. Why? Because they fear being alone. But you walk away. You leave the table when respect is no longer served. You leave the room when your soul no longer fits. You leave the stage when the script was never written for you. That terrifies people because they can't hold you hostage. They can't use guilt to keep you chained. They can't control you with comfort or convenience. Your ability to walk away makes you untouchable because you don't just let go of people, you let go of illusions. And illusions are what keep most people trapped. Think about it. Chains don't scare you anymore because you've proven you'll break them. Doors don't scare you because you'll build your own. Loneliness doesn't scare you because you've learned solitude is where God speaks the loudest. Chosen one, no one has ever been so dangerous like you because you're not bound to anything. And when nothing binds you, nothing stops you.